Welcome to DrupalBrief. This is an AI-generated summary of another video, podcast, or blog post. If you want to learn more about what's being discussed here, then please go check out the source. This podcast is sponsored by Drupal Forge. Drupal Forge is an open-source, lightning-fast demo, development, and testing platform. It spins up Drupal sites in less than 5 seconds, complete with a browser-based VS Code. Want to try Drupal CMS, Drupal AI, Experience Builder? No need to install anything on your laptop. Drupal Forge has you covered. Even Composer, Drush, and AI keys are pre-installed so you can hit the ground running. Demo Drupal in less than 5 seconds only at Drupal Forge. Please take a second to click subscribe. We're a new podcast and this helps us a lot. Okay, that's it. Ready? Here we go.
Have you ever, found yourself looking at a digital project, maybe a website, and it just feels so complex, like you need special glasses just to see what's really going on under the hood?
Yeah, like information overload is just the default state sometimes.
Exactly. Or maybe you've wished for a simpler way to get powerful web features running, without needing a PhD in coding. Well, today we're kind of pulling back the curtain on some unsung heroes in web development. Innovations working behind the scenes, turning that chaos into clarity.
Right.
This is the deep dive, your shortcut to understanding these cutting-edge solutions that are really changing how we build and manage digital stuff.
That's right. And our mission today is to explore 2 really interesting breakthroughs in the Drupal ecosystem.
Okay.
Things that aren't just simplifying little tasks, but actually changing how we interact with content and, build complex systems.
Tools for everyone, basically.
Yeah, tools designed to empower you, whether you're managing the content, building the site, or even a seasoned developer.
I'm genuinely excited about this one.
Yeah.
I mean, these innovations seem like they could make web development, a lot more accessible and efficient, too.
Definitely.
Addressing those nagging pain points, the things that slow everyone down. So let's unpack this and dive right in.
Let's do it. We'll look at how these tools solve those immediate frustrating problems, but also kind of lay the groundwork for a more intuitive, manageable digital future.
Okay, first up, let's talk about a module that's surprisingly powerful for how new it is. It's called the Field Data Module.
That's the one, created just this past February by Jacob Rockowitz.
Wow, really recent.
Yeah, it's still in Alpha 1.0, Alpha 12, I think, but already being used on 34 sites.
34 sites already for an alpha module. That's pretty significant. What's the core problem it's trying to fix?
It's all something incredibly common, actually, especially on bigger projects. Imagine needing to quickly see all the data inside one specific field.
Like across the whole site.
Exactly. Say you have a price field on, thousands of product pages, and you just need to see all the price values entered.
Oh, wow, yeah. That sounds painful manually.
Totally. It's usually a nightmare. Database exports, clicking through pages forever. This module just cuts right through that bottleneck, gives you immediate visibility.
So how does it work? How does it give you that sort of X-ray vision into your content?
It plugs right into Drupal core's Field UI, the standard interface for managing fields. It just adds a simple data tab to the existing field list report.
Oh, nice. Integrated.
Yeah. So you can click through your content types like articles or products, see their different bundles like blog posts versus news article, and bam, you see the field usage and the actual values right there.
And the documentation is simple.
Get this. It's basically just a read any file and an animated GIF on the Drupal.org page. Shows you exactly what it does. Super straightforward.
Okay. I love that. So where does this become absolutely critical? What are the big use cases?
Well, migrations are a huge one, especially Drupal to Drupal migrations.
Right.
You absolutely need to audit the existing data from the old site. You can't plan a migration without knowing what you're moving, right? Is it clean? Is it messy? This lets you see that fast.
Makes sense. Find the problems before you migrate them.
Exactly. And second, it's a game changer for content architecture. It lets you audit how fields are actually being used.
So you can find those fields that nobody's filled out in years.
Precisely. You can spot fields that are maybe not being used site-wide anymore, or they're just legacy leftovers from some old version of the site.
Digital dust collectors.
Right. And knowing that helps you refine your content model, clean things up, maybe future-proof the site a bit.
So it's not just cleaning up the past, but sort of tidying up for the future, too. That's a neat angle. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah, it informs those bigger architectural decisions. And finally, data quality control.
Okay.
Finding and fixing bad data, Like, I don't know, maybe editors are just copying titles into another field, making it useless.
Right, or finding weird formatting issues.
Exactly. And sometimes that bad data points to bigger problems, like maybe the content structure itself is confusing, or the editors need better guidance, so it highlights systemic issues too.
You mentioned benefits, and the developer says it's very quick and simple and very performant.
Yeah, because it's mostly just loading Pable data directly. The developer mentioned it doesn't even blink at showing like 500 records.
Impressive. And it has CSV export.
Yep, CSV export for digging deeper if you need to. Super useful.
How does this stack up against other tools? Why not just use, say, Schema Viewer or something?
Well, Schema Viewer is often maybe too broad. It focuses more on the database tables themselves, not necessarily the content within specific fields in a user-friendly way for site builders.
Gotcha.
And something like Entity Export CSV, that lets you export data, sure, but you have to configure it, pick your nodes. It doesn't give you that instant in Drupal browse and see capability.
So this fills a specific gap.
A crucial gap, I'd say. It's a powerful, accessible audit tool. Saves a ton of time, especially for site builders, maybe content owners too.
Yeah.
Lets them get insights without needing, deep technical chops.
That accessibility point feels really key. It's interesting that the creator noted the module is kind of done, especially for an alpha release. What does that suggest?
It really speaks to the clarity of the problem it aimed to solve, I think. It does one thing, and apparently it does it really well.
Focused.
Very focused. Sure, maybe minor tweaks could happen, like comparing select list options or something, but keeping it simple is its strength. It avoids becoming bloated.
Okay, so that's the field data module, surgical precision for checking your content's pulse.
Nicely put.
But what if the challenge isn't just understanding existing content, but getting started with a powerful system like Drupal in the first place?
Yeah.
Setting things up.
Right, the initial setup hurdle.
Let's shift gears. Let's look at a broader initiative tackling that. The Drupal CMS initiative and its recipes concept, aiming to simplify complex setups. And specifically, we'll touch on the work of Theresa Espinach, the analytics track lead.
Yeah, Theresa's background is quite relevant here. She's a seasoned Drupal dev, educator, strong in content architecture, migrations, editor experience. A really good fit.
So she knew the pain points.
Exactly. And she had done some work with analytics years ago, so she was versatile. Her getting involved came from wanting to contribute, especially with the whole Starshot initiative announced at DrupalCon. It just made sense for her to lead the analytics part.
And the goal for the analytics recipe was?
Make it super easy to install and configure analytics, especially for marketers. Least amount of steps possible.
Keep it simple for the non-devs.
Absolutely. And strategically, they focused on Google Analytics first, just because, it has the biggest market share. Practical decision.
Okay, makes sense. But how easy was it to make it that easy? I bet there were challenges.
Oh, yeah. Definitely some interesting challenges, as Theresa put it. The first big one was getting user input, specifically the Google Analytics container ID.
Right, that unique code you need.
Yeah. And recipes traditionally couldn't just pop up a form and ask the user for something like that during installation.
Huh. So how did they solve it?
This analytics recipe was actually the first one to introduce that UI prompt during install, like how the AI recipe now asks for an API key.
Wow, so this wasn't just an analytics feature, it was a breakthrough for recipes in general.
Huge deal for the whole recipe ecosystem. It took a lot of coordination with other teams, like Project Browser, particularly Finximat. They even had a sort of fake working demo at DrupalCon Europe before it was properly functional in December.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
A major step. What was the second hurdle?
The other main challenge was configuration entity naming.
Okay.
So the Google Tag module, which this recipe uses, normally names its configuration file the thing that stores its settings after the Google Tag ID itself.
Right, makes sense.
But the recipe couldn't dynamically create a file name based on the ID the user just typed in during install.
Chicken and egg problem.
Sort of, yeah. So the clever workaround was to just give the config file a random name, like Drupal.yaml or something generic. They relied on the fact that the module doesn't actually need the file name to match the ID to load the settings. All the info is inside the file.
Okay, that is clever. Decoupling the name from the function. So for the user, how does it look?
Pretty smooth, actually. You don't find it in the main Drupal install screen. You'd go to the project browser later, find the analytics recipe, click install.
And then the prompt appears.
Yep. A simple little form just asks for your container ID. Done. Feels almost like installing an app.
That really does sound straightforward.
Yeah.
Thinking about the effort involved here, Theresa mentioned investing around 100 hours over a year and a half.
Yeah, roughly 100 hours, about 60% sponsored by Evolving Web, her agency, and 40% personal time.
Wow, 100 hours. That's like over 2 full work weeks just to make putting in an analytics ID easier.
It sounds like a lot for a small UI thing, right? But think about the impact.
Yeah.
That's the kind of dedication you see in open source. Agencies like Evolving Web make it part of their planned project workload. It's core to their values. They dedicate real developer time to pushing the platform forward. It's often unseen work, but it's crucial.
That's a huge investment. But I guess it's essential for lowering that barrier to entry, making Drupal CMS genuinely appealing and, well, look good to folks who aren't deep technical experts.
Exactly. It makes it seem less intimidating, more exciting for wider adoption.
And does the recipe do more than just install the module and take the ID? Are there defaults?
Oh, yeah. Some really sensible defaults baked in. It enables the Google Tag module, obviously. It also excludes administration pages from being tracked.
That's important. Easy to forget.
Very easy. And crucially, it integrates with the privacy track. This is a big one.
Okay, how so?
Instead of just having, say, a privacy policy link in the footer for consent, this integration makes a proper dialog box pop up. It ensures nothing is tracked until you have given your consent.
So proactive consent management built in.
Right. A really significant step towards better privacy compliance right out of the box. Gives users more control from the start.
That's great for compliance. But does making it so easy maybe risk people not understanding why consent is important? Or maybe not bothering to customize it?
That's a fair point to raise. The goal, though, is setting a strong, compliant default baseline. For a lot of users, just having that handled correctly is a massive relief.
True, it takes one thing off their plate.
Exactly. And the underlying modules still allow for deeper configuration if needed. It's about providing a solid starting point, not locking users out of customization.
Okay, got it. So this recipe is great within Drupal CMS. But what about developers or agencies not using the full Drupal CMS distribution? Can they still use these recipes?
Absolutely. That's a key point. Recipes can be installed independently. So for developers, they can become like an automation tool or a checklist item almost. Ensure analytics gets set up every time, never forgotten before launch.
Consistency.
Yeah. And agencies. They can use this idea to build their own master recipes or site templates, bundle their standard security settings, required modules, maybe accessibility checks.
Internal standardization.
Right, which can seriously cut down maintenance costs and speed up new project setups. Plus, seeing this analytics recipe might act as a catalyst for someone to build, say, an Adobe Analytics recipe using this as a template.
So it helps standardize and also inspires more automation. That's pretty powerful.
It really shifts how you can package and deploy Drupal features.
Now, you mentioned the ecosystem project browser, having a recipe browser, Jim Birch's Saplings initiative. But you also hinted that building complex recipes is still kind of painful.
Yeah, that's the current reality, unfortunately. Building them requires pretty deep knowledge of Drupal's configuration system, managing all the dependencies between modules, and these cryptographic hashes. Yeah, they're like unique fingerprints for files to ensure everything is exactly right. If one little thing is off, the whole recipe can break. It makes building complex ones, frankly, a nightmare sometimes.
Oof. So what's needed?
The big question is, how do we make building recipes far, far easier? That's critical for the future.
Like maybe exporting a whole configured site as a recipe.
That's the dream scenario for many, yeah. Right now, the steep learning curve is definitely a barrier, but the community knows this and is working on it.
Okay, looking ahead then, Drupal CMS 2.0 roadmap. What's the focus?
Big things are site templates, which builds on this recipe idea. Also, the experience builder, Theresa, is apparently really excited about that, working on compatibility and more AI capability.
And for the analytics recipe itself, any evolution planned?
Yep. A first version of a recipe for Matomo is already in progress.
Matomo, remind me.
It's another popular analytics tool. Big selling points are 100% data ownership and strong privacy, features GDPR, HIPAA compliance friendly, often self-hosted.
Ah, right. The privacy-focused alternative.
Exactly. So the ideal future, the goal, is to maybe have one main analytics recipe where the user can just choose their provider, Google, Matomo, maybe others down the line.
Choice and simplicity. Nice.
And stepping back, all these continuous improvements, like this analytics recipe, they're really designed to broaden Drupal's appeal. Make it dramatically easier for everyone, regardless of technical skill, to get started and manage their sites.
Expanding the user base.
That's the goal. We'll likely see Drupal CMS 2.0 properly showcased around September, probably at DrupalCon Vienna.
What a journey today.
Yeah.
We went from getting that super precise view of field data with a new field data module,
Yeah, the content X-ray.
all the way to simplifying complex setups like analytics, using these really smart pioneering recipes in Drupal CMS. These deep dives, they really show the quiet innovation happening, don't they? Making powerful tools just easier to use.
Absolutely. And the core takeaway, I think, is clear. The future for platforms like Drupal lies in making powerful tools feel intuitive, cutting down that information overload, empowering users to focus on their actual goals, not the technical hurdles.
So here's something to think about as you go about your day. What hidden gems, what insights might be buried in your own data, or maybe what complex setup in your world could be made simpler if you just had the right recipe for it.
Yeah, and how could having that kind of quick, accessible insight into your data, into your processes, how could that empower you to make better decisions, build more efficient, more robust digital experiences?
A lot to think about. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We really hope you explore these tools and ideas further, maybe even jump in and contribute to the open source efforts that make all this possible.
That is a wrap on today's Drupal Brief. Remember, this was an AI-generated summary, so be sure to check out the original source for the full story and all the details. Before you go, if what you heard today got you excited about trying something new in Drupal, remember that Drupal Forge has you covered. Whether you want to test that new module, demo a concept to your team, or just explore the latest Drupal features, you're literally 5 seconds away from a fully loaded development environment. No downloads, no setup, no hassle. Just pure Drupal innovation at your fingertips. If this episode was helpful, please hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. It really helps other Drupal developers discover the show. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next Drupal Brief.